Hello, and thank you for visiting my tutorial. This tutorial was inspired by a request I recently received about a Osiris pendulum with 16 batteries. As you can see here, the Osiris pendulum comes with 4 stacked, and these are called batteries. This is a very powerful pendulum. I use this type of pendulum for healing, remote healing particularly. When not in use, it's advised to disassemble the pendulum. Like so. And store it in your case or bag or however you store it. If you're going to leave it assembled, it's a good idea to store it in what they call a Faraday bag, which blocks out rays. So what I'm going to do is assemble a 16 battery Osiris pendulum and then test what the frequency is going to be. The person who wanted the large battery or the 16 battery Osiris pendulum was concerned about what the balance would be in using it. So I told him I would test it and share it with him. So to make a Osiris pendulum with the 16 batteries, we'll need 7 regular Osiris pendulums. And after configuring with the 16, there will be 6 2-battery Osiris pendulums remaining. And you could feel free to reconfigure it with more or less and test the frequency to see if it matches the work you want to do. We'll be using this color chart to determine the color that the pendulum radiates to. And then I'll use this legend that explains each color. So there we have it. A 16 battery Osiris pendulum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we'll now test to see what color that this configuration vibrates to. Looks like it's settling on the color ultraviolet. So let's test that. I'll use another chart, a yes/no chart. This pendulum vibrates to an ultraviolet frequency. As you can see, it's giving me a yes indication, or maybe can't say, but it is giving me a yes indication. Stop. So let's test and see if that's accurate. What I'm going to affirm is that this pendulum, at this configuration, vibrates to a color that I know is incorrect, to see what answer I would receive. This pendulum vibrates at a yellow frequency. No. Orange frequency. Red frequency. Normally when you're asking, you want to give enough space in between asking to see what kind of reaction you get from the pendulum. But I'm going a bit fast too, in the interest of saving time. This pendulum vibrates at a red frequency. Vibrates at an infrared red frequency. It vibrates at a black frequency. Still giving me no. It vibrates at a negative green frequency. This pendulum vibrates at a positive green frequency. At a blue frequency. Indigo frequency. This pendulum vibrates at a violet frequency. This pendulum vibrates at a ultraviolet frequency. See, it slows down and gave me a yes. There's one color left after the ultraviolet. So let's test it. This pendulum vibrates at the white frequency. No. This pendulum vibrates, I can't get it out, can I? This pendulum vibrates at an ultraviolet frequency. So there we have it. A 16 battery Osiris pendulum, at least for my testing, vibrates at an ultraviolet ray frequency. And we'll get to what that means in a moment. Let's test the residue, not residue, I shouldn't say that, the remaining portion of the pendulum after you reconfigure it, you'll be left with a number of these depending on the configuration you make. So let's see what this vibrates to. This 2-battery Osiris pendulum vibrates at a frequency. So it's leaning towards the orange. At one point, it's almost like dead center between the orange and the red. But from my angle, it looks like it's a bit more to orange. So that's what I'll go with, orange. So there we have 2. Let me write down the colors so I won't forget. We had the ultraviolet for the 6-battery configuration. And then there was the orange for the 2-battery configuration. All right, so when I read my legend, let's see, ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is a color that is used for, or excuse me, a pendulum that vibrates at an ultraviolet color is good to use for pain relief, elimination and dissolution of blockages, DNA work, skin support, astral perception, expansion of the mind, and spiritual dimensions. I'm not surprised with that at all. I use the Osiris pendulum a lot, not in the 16th configuration. The largest I use is the 10-battery configuration, but I'll start experimenting more with them and do a video afterward. All right, the other was the what was it? Orange. Okay, the orange. So we have ultraviolet for the large 16 battery, and then we have orange for 2 battery. So ultraviolet and orange. All right, so orange is this frequency or this ray of pendulum would be good for elimination of waste, toxins, germs, cleansing, elimination, strengthening of the spleen and heart, cleansing of the kidneys, bladder and colon, muscular spasm relief, and heart tonic. So I've been using pendulums for many years now, over 20 years or close to. And what I've learned is that anything can be used for a pendulum. I mean, literally anything, a paper clip, anything with some weight on a string. It could be used for very general purposes, finding lost items or, getting a yes or no answer. But when you're working with specific purposes, and particularly around healing and spiritual development or things that require higher levels of sensitivity, you'll find that pendulums that vibrate at a frequency consistent with that objective will give you I guess a better reading, more accurate reading, a quicker reading. It'll feel different as you do it. So I just want to get that disclaimer out there. And any pendulum that you have, again, you can use for almost anything. But if you want to focus in a particular area, then you want to get a pendulum with a frequency matches that particular working. For example, I mean, a car is a car is a car. But if you can get into a Toyota Prius, nice car, eco-friendly electric car, and get around. But driving a Tesla is a lot more fun and faster. And, so it's kind of like that kind of comparison with pendulums. You can get a basic pendulum or something that's more fun to use, more sensitive, if you will. So I hope this is helpful, particularly for the person who made the request and for those who could benefit from that same question. I hope that helps. So until next time, be well.